recording. Well, good. Like, better in the door. But it's raining, as you see here. It's pouring, and well, maybe you can't really tell, but it is raining. We'll give you like a 360 here. Let's see over there. It's raining, and once in a while we got a little wind gust. Like it is February and Black History Month, and there's like more than one ways that people had analyzed slavery, and one way that we analyze slavery is the simple fact that the merchants was funded, and the ships that would, hold cargo from Europe to the new country was funded by, Spain, France, and Britain. But it was the merchants that came forth and slaughtered, murdered, raped the people. And like you have to think about there's like one people that was of the mind that slavery is capitalism to the point that before the people that was living, like let's say in the Americas, they were like they grew cotton and they made their own clothes. They grew corn and they did multiple different things with corn. They grew all their food. And they ate a lot of fish. They ate more fish than they did red meat. So you had a lot of fish, but you had people that ate a lot of red meat. But a lot of that, because of not having refrigeration, there was always, lakes and streams and rivers and the ocean that you can get red meat, and then you can have other animals there that that sort of more, like the deer that you could follow the herd. They weren't really that into. They just went along more so with nature. So they were probably, and then you had we eat like a lot of root and vegetables. Like root, like potatoes, sweet potatoes. Beets, etc. And then other things we eat, tomatoes, whatever we could find. We don't only just eat red meat. So they had a diet that was probably more high in like fish, root, flour. And when I say fruit, I'm like, it could be like a pear, it could be banana, it could be, could also be walnuts and avocados, just whatever like would bloom. Basically, if it was bloom, if it bloomed or had a flower, you knew that it was a gift. That's how they believe from God that this was used for something. Like if you look at opium, so now that we have phenyl and all this other stuff that they sort of synthetic what you get from the opium plant, poppies, right? It had a beautiful flower, it could be used for something, right? Red flowers was usually a warning or anything red, but anyway, so and you could use like any type of thing that's a fruit, like an apple. You could have delicious applesauce, or you could make a poison, from the seeds. That was very common. So anything could be used either good or bad, and there's not either like one extreme than the next. There's middles, right? What was it? Pork salad, whatever. You cook it wrong, gives you really bad cramps. Probably kill you. But if you eat it the young early, not so bad. But so like so they ate a lot of like green stuff, a lot of flower stuff, a lot of fruit from things from like from the trees, um, and they grew cotton, so they were able to weave their own clothes. And cotton was very versatile. You could do many things with it, from making threads to ropes, from clothes to uh, even footwear, right? Handwear, hatwear, anything to cover your whole body. Um, Cotton and corn and wheat and mallow and everything was used for more than one use. Even like if it came to a tree, you might not kill the tree. You might use the bark, like the weeping willow bark, to make what we would call today aspirin, etc. All this, I'm saying, you lived off the land. You didn't have to go to the store, and it was like hard work. And in some areas, they knew different ways of surviving than other areas, be them better or worse. Uh, People had ways, and all of them had their little ingeniousness to it, when it came to surviving or prolonging their life. Either, just by having a healthy diet and not having anything like caffeine, nicotine, fluoride, lead, and mercury that's introduced to your diet to cause your immune system and your health to deteriorate extremely. So, like, we look at today, and we're totally dependent on, like, going to, for example, Walmart's. They're going to the grocery stores like Kroger's or Aldi's or Costco, or like you know numerous other stores that we would go and buy Save a Lot, that we might buy food at. And then we get our clothes that are all manufactured. We would go to, nowadays, Macy's, Gimbals, Saks, J.C. Penney's are not where you usually get it. You usually get it at Walgreens, Kmart, Targets, or the Dollar General. So we do, we don't, you know what I'm saying? And that's where you lack the freedom, like your home. So we're all indebted to the Federal Reserve, right? We're all in love with the dollar. It's like we all think that capitalism is a good thing, because like we're not going to make this. Even though in a lot of cases, especially in the black community, they had to totally destroy, genocide, uh, not only the people, the culture, the religions, and their way of life. You could just look as early as the 60s. You could look at Detroit. You could the upheaval that we had in the United States. We can look at Africa, especially South Africa with Mandela. We have plenty of numerous examples of how capitalism has went there. Like, for example, let's use Vietnam, where my dad had went to. The number one thing that they had to do to bring capitalism there was destroy the jungle. What did they destroy the jungle with? Agent Orange. And Agent Orange these days is a lot of stuff that's used, from what I hear, like in Roundup. It would just kill everything. So they had to kill these people. Like, they was living off the forest. They were living off the woods. They were self-sufficient. They was living in the water, in the river, eating fish, eating, root plants, eating flowers, what I'm saying? Whatever you could get out of the ocean, just like my ancestors, you would eat snails, you'll eat shrimp, you'll eat lobsters, you know, alligators, snakes, you're going to eat it, right? And you'll eat seaweed, whatever, plant life, because we eat meat and plants and fruits. And a lot of things like I call fruits might even be considered vegetables, because like I see broccoli, well, it's a fruit of the plant, and cauliflower. And all these things, over centuries, our body had learned to depend on them uh, uh, for the vitamins to our eyesight, calcium to our bones, and vitamin D, And all these things, vitamin A, vitamin K, all these things we got out of having a colorful and a variety on our plate when we ate, right? Have grains, like you might mush corn up, like, you know, and make grits. Who knows? You know what I'm saying? After you pick it, maybe it dries out. Okay, your corn dried out. What are you gonna do with dried corn? You're gonna smush it, right? Or you're gonna make hominy, soak it in water, swallow it up again. You know, but they were very versatile. They were very ingenious in using their food, and they were self-sufficient. And like there was different ways of getting black people off their land. Like in our situation in our family, uh, like almost all my uncles had went, got drafted and went to war. Like because like I think like most of my thinking was like Korean and Vietnam. My dad went to Vietnam. My one uncle went to Korea, and I don't know, maybe Uncle Roy was in World War II. But and they did quite fine until they integrated them really. Oh, and Uncle Willie, he was just like in a lot of wars. It was like Navy full time. But all of them and they all came back. Even though maybe Uncle Willie, because he was in the Navy, he was on a nuclear submarine his whole life. He ended up with a type of cancer. That just totally took his memory, brain cancer, horrible thing in a way. But anyway, and he had other buddies that when he was in the, I think he was in Virginia Navy Medical Hospital, or whatever, dying. He had some other friends. He had one guy. He had it his arm. He had cancer that amputated his arm. Anyway, so the sum it up is that. It's like things have not really changed since the time of Moses, except for the simple fact that our schools are failing our kids enough for them to know where they lane they're in. You know what I'm saying? And because the powers that be, the federal revenue that controls the money and everything, they're afraid that if you know the truth, whatever, you're gonna revolt. Nobody's gonna revolt because they love the money too much. You know what I'm saying? You got the 7 deadly sins rules this world because you can tell by the pollution. And the pollution, we have somebody that were talking about carbon dioxide in World War II, and the Jews was bad. Well, the carbon dioxide is a poison that will kill people, and yes, plants excrete it, or plants live off of it because we excrete it as human beings and other mammals do. But anyway, but pollution, the way we live, the way we're doing things is self-destructive. But I think that it's always been a comfort to a lot of Caucasian or not even Caucasian, because I don't think the federal revenue, the main families that have in control of all the money are as pure white or anybody is. You know what I'm saying? Who knows what they are, right? So, people procreate by having a lot of sex. So, we're sexual. And today you could see part of the propaganda is we're overly sex. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a distraction from the reality. When you could be growing your own food, like in this area, like this pigman over here, if it had flowers and smelled good, he put Roundup on it, like my peach trees, a rose bush underneath it, and some purple irises, and some lavender vines that was on the thing, and some honeysuckles, because honeysuckles and lavender smell pretty. Wait, let me close down. It's almost been 15 minutes that I was talking. I just want to sum it up and say that, we no longer live off the land. We live to go shopping.